In this video, we're going to talk about the absolute value of a complex number. This is also called the modulus of a complex number. So here we have our complex plane with our real number axis and our imaginary number axis. And let's go ahead and look at the number 2 plus 3i, and here's where it lands on the complex plane. And remember that absolute value just means the distance a number is from the origin. So here's that distance. And of course, in the plane here, we can make a right triangle out of this. And the right triangle will have dimensions of 2 and 3. And of course, yet again, we can use the Pythagorean theorem, and we have the square root of a squared plus b squared is actually going to be that distance. So when we plug the numbers in, we'll see that we have the square root of 4 plus 9, which is the square root of 13, which is going to be that distance. So as we look at it with our complex number, 2 plus 3i, the absolute value of that will be the square root of 13. So in this first example, we have the complex number 6 minus 3i. And so if you're going to write this in a plus bi form, which it is, your a value is 6 and your b value is a negative 3. So to find the absolute value, or the modulus, we're going to do the square root of a squared plus b squared. So my a value is positive 6. My b value is negative 3. I'm going to square each one and take the square root. So it'll be the square root of 36 plus 9, which is the square root of 45. So 45 over here, we can do the prime factorization. And this is in an effort to simplify. So we see this is the square root of 3 times 3 times 5. And of course here we have a pair of 3's, because 3 times 3 is 9, which is a perfect square. So that will simplify. And so the absolute value, or the modulus, of 6 minus 3i becomes 3 times the square root of 5. And in our second example, we have the complex number 4 times the square root of 5 plus 8i. So again, in standard form, a plus bi, our a value is 4 times the square root of 5, and our b value is 8. So if we're going to put this in our absolute value formula, it's the square root of a squared plus b squared, which will be the square root of, well, we have 4 radical 5 squared, and then 8 squared. Okay, well, how do you square this radical? Well, it's going to be 4 times 4 is 16, and then the square root of 5 squared is just 5. So 16 times 5 is 80. And then, of course, 8 squared is 64. When I add those, I get the square root of 144. Well, that's nice because that's a perfect square. So the value here is going to be 12. So the absolute value, or the modulus, of 4 radical 5 plus 8i is just 12.